If you were given a chance to change something in you, your body, physique, so as to look different, would you do that? And what would it be? Sit with me for a moment. Let me tell you a story.
Look at her hair. She doesn't look classy at all.
Achieng is busy working on her computer. Two of her co-workers are standing gossiping about her hair, her natural fussy hair tied into a bun. She's not classy at all. Look at her. With all the money she receives in this company, she cannot afford wigs. Good wigs. Human hair wigs like ours. Indeed. You can take the monkey out of the bush, but you can't take the bush out of the monkey. Eleanor and Charlotte gossiped right behind Achieng, not caring if she was listening to them. Achieng was used to hearing such, so she didn't bother and continued working. Achieng Okeyo, 32 years old, deep brown skin that always glow whenever she is in the sun, made a choice that no one and absolutely no one will ever lower her self-esteem when it comes to her hair. In her previous job, where she worked as a receptionist, this lady saw it all. Her bank account was drained because the management made it a rule for receptionists to wear wigs. Expensive straight wigs. She spent 60% of her salary to purchase wigs. But wearing wigs was not mandatory for all. Eva, who did not have fussy hair, just combed it. Everyone would admire her hair, saying they wish theirs was like hers. The likes of Achieng, who were wearing wigs because no matter how much they blow dried their hair, it never cooperated, would change it after every 2 weeks. Management's rule, remember? With the not so much salary, most of them struggle financially. Achieng used to pray to God to help her get another job because this one was slowly sinking her into depression. Mind you, she was the one paying school fees for her younger brother after their parents died. So whenever Eleanor and Charlotte make fun of her hair at TP Corporation, Achieng Okeyo doesn't pay attention to them. Them calling her ugly, classless, broke, stingy because she doesn't wear wigs don't get to her. Ew! Mercy exclaimed, covering her nose. I don't eat that stuff. It's horrible. It makes me nauseous. How do you eat that thing? Mercy said, giving the food awful look, covering her nose as if it was thinking. Even people passing near Dandora dump site don't cover their noses like that. Achieng, her roommate, was left speechless. This happened many years ago, when Achieng was still hustling in the city of Nairobi. Mercy was her schoolmate back in secondary school and just moved to the city. With no place to stay, Achieng offered to host her until she gets back on her feet. Achieng Okeyo grew up in the village of Kanyakwar, Kisumu, brought up by their grandmother. Eating indigenous foods was habitual. Her grandmother would mix vegetables like kunde, cowpeas leaves, seveve, pumpkin leaves, mito, and brenda, jitmalo, then cook together in a pot. When ready, she did fry them, but used groundnuts instead. Add fresh milk. This sumptuous meal was served with brown ugali, combination of maize, sorghum, and cassava. Then take fermented milk. Breakfast was boiled sweet potatoes or arrowroots with porridge. Let me give you the porridge recipe. It was a mixture of millet, a little maize, and cassava. Did I tell you that porridge was not taken in cups? It was calabash. Achieng's grandmother would mix this porridge flour in a jug using water, cover it with a lid, then put it on the sun for fermentation. For this reason, this daughter of Okeyo woke up one Saturday feeling nostalgic about the gone days with grandma in the quiet village of Kanyakwar, where the only noise was coming from birds on the tall trees ready to cause destruction on their maize farm. She got up early, went to Mudhurwa market and got her vegetables. Immediately she got into her single room in Kayole. Achieng prepared this delicious meal. It was a mixture of managu, African nightshade, saga, spider plant, and terere, amaranth. Then served it with ugali. After the meal was served, Mercy started feeling nauseous. Was she faking it? Touched the food with 2 fingers and exclaimed, covering her nose. Ew, I don't eat that stuff. It's horrible. It makes me nauseous. How do you eat that thing? Achieng just looked at her, shook her head, and continued enjoying her meal. Be aware that Mercy and Achieng were childhood friends, attended the same primary school, same secondary school, and also ate the indigenous foods in the village. Months later, Mercy fell sick. Her body got weak and was taken to the hospital by her friend. The doctor advised her to be taking a lot of indigenous foods and avoid junk foods. Since then, you cannot separate Mercy from indigenous foods. What are some of the indigenous foods in your community or country? Please comment below. Sit tight. You can adjust your sitting posture if you like. Let me continue telling you this story. During their stay in their humble single room in Kayole, Mercy never stopped amusing Achieng. One evening, when she was returning back home from work, one gentleman stopped her and asked, "Where's Miss Davidson? Miss Davidson, your friend." Achieng did not get who this young man was asking about until he described that it was Mercy, her roommate. "She must be in the house. I left since morning for work," she answered. "Miss Davidson, how are you?" Achieng greeted Mercy, teasing her after getting into the house. "So you are Miss Davidson, not Miss Nyamgodo? Nairobi will show me wonders," she added, clapping her hands in surprise. "Madam, your surname is Nyamgodo. Your father's name is David Nyamgodo. Which one is Davidson?" "Your name is Mercy Nyamgodo," she imitated, now rolling down on the floor with laughter, her stomach hurting and tears coming from her eyes. "That name irritates me. It's not classy. Nyamgodo. I hate it," Mercy said, clicking her tongue. Now, with a serious face, Achieng advised her to be proud of her heritage. Achieng loves listening to music, African music. Nonetheless, they ended up having some misunderstanding. Anytime Mercy would hear African music playing in the radio, she would switch to another station that plays jazz. Whenever she would enter the house and find Achieng listening to vernacular radio stations, she would say, "What are you listening to? We are in Nairobi. Hello, not Kanyakwar. Be civilized, madam." This could brew some arguments between them because sometimes the radio was airing educative program that Achieng was listening to, then get interrupted. Until they separated, Mercy still was not listening to vernacular radio stations. Don't even mention about speaking in mother tongue. She hated it, stating that she cannot speak mother tongue and is living in the city, that it is for indigenous girls in the village. I cannot fail to remember this other incident that Achieng, the daughter of Mr. Okeo, will never forget. This happened months ago. She was invited to Nairobi Corporate Gala. Of course, it had a theme for dress code. Dress code was formal dress for women and tuxedo for men. Her colleagues were excited, especially Eleanor and Charlotte, since it was an annual event. 5 days to the event, these two friends got into the best boutique in the city. That one that when you enter and you know you are not the target audience, you just walk away slowly. You don't even want the attendants to see you because you cannot afford it. That one. Eleanor and Charlotte bought their black dresses and shoes. At work, they used to discuss about the upcoming event. They could not wait. A day to the event, Achieng had not bought the formal dress. The D-Day came. As soon as she stepped into the ballroom, everything was at standstill. Some had their eyes glued at her in surprise, while others whispered. Eleanor and Charlotte started laughing loudly with the intention of humiliating her. They said, "Is she lost? Is this a cultural event? What do you expect from that classless being?" Apart from wearing confidence that night, this daughter of Okeo wore her dress with pride. Her natural foresee hair neatly tied into a bun. Her deep blue dress with gold patterns like Lake Victoria at sunset fit her perfectly. She lifted her chin, scanned the room, walked with calm dignity, took her seat, her back straight, and smiled steadily. When time for presentation came, Achieng delivered an excellent presentation. Everyone applauded her. Eleanor and Charlotte applauded her. She didn't care if it was genuine or fake applause from the two. She smiled and whispered, "Mom, Dad, Grandma, I'm sure you are proud of me up there." Later that night, a senior executive approached her and said quietly, "That dress, it reminds us who we are." If you admire the Achieng, now let me tell you about Jebet. This one is a true story. Jebet, the daughter of Ngetich, had just completed her Form 4 exams, passed very well, and was studying at the University of Nairobi. This young lady had always been proud of her roots, her skin, until she met some Nairobi men. They used to make fun of her, calling her names like charcoal, darkness. One even said, "There's nothing like black beauty. You are either black or beautiful. Fair-skinned women are more attractive." These words used to hurt her. And because she wanted to belong, Jebet succumbed to peer pressure of skin bleaching. One afternoon, she walked into a store and purchased a few body creams. She was excited to eventually get rid of that melanin that is an obstacle to her finding love. A few days after using the cream, she noticed her skin was different. Rashes, redness, burning, itching was all over her body. She went back to the store and was given another cream, which the attendant assured her that it was going to work and she will start seeing positive results in 72 hours. Her skin will be lighter, glowing, and beautiful. She applied the creams to her body. My goodness, her skin worsened. Sunburns on her face, and even pigmentation where some areas were darker than their original shade, and swelling. Every time she looked for help, she ended up buying more creams after being lied to that they were going to help. Her situation was worsening. In the end, she sought the help of a dermatologist. Her even black skin was back. Since then, she never touches bleaching creams and feels more confident. Every story leaves a lesson if we are willing to learn. Achieng has taught us that when we honor who we are, even the room must adjust. That confidence turns identity into authority. Mercy learned that indigenous foods nourish both the body and identity. What sustained our ancestors can still sustain us today. From Jebet's story, we learned that our true confidence fades when we trade self-love for approval. Beauty never left her skin. It left the moment she doubted it. If this story spoke to you, you are welcome to stay.